Welcome to Snetterton and the final two races in the season for the JMT Monoposto 1800s, 1600s, Moto 1400s and Moto 1000s around the full 300 circuit. A championship still to be decided in Moto Mono 1000s between Richard Gittins, Craig Hurren and John Reid, but which of those three is likely to take it? We'll find out after the two races here this weekend. For this race, it's Jeremy Timms who starts from pole position. He's got brother Jason Timms alongside. Then back on row two, one of those championship contenders, Richard Gittins, starts on the inside of row two, and Andrew Gordon-Colebrook is on the outside. And then further back on row three, it's Alex Fors and Craig Hurren in car number 33 that round out the first three rows. The 5-second board has been held aloft, which means very shortly we are ready for 15 minutes of racing. The red lights are about to come on, and who can make the best of the starts as we get underway. Good start from the Moto Mono class, of course. The Jedis will be very quick off the line, but a good start there from Jeremy Timms in car number two. It's going to be chased all the way, though, from Richard Gittins in the Jedi, which goes straight down the inside line in towards Richie's corner. As expected, the Jedis off the line very, very quickly indeed. But what can Jeremy Timms do to respond, and what can he do as the race unfolds over the next 15 minutes? Already he's attacking in towards the Wilson hairpin. We've got a good start also being made by Jason Timms. They're on a few spinners as well at the hairpin there, one of those being the likes of 12 by the looks of it, Philip Davis in the all blue machine, and one of the Formula Ford machines in there as well, which thankfully gets going, so no one is left stranded at the hairpin. Richard Gittins, however, though, is the man who leads the way down towards Agostini for the first time. Chased hard already by Jeremy Timms. Slight lock up there from Jason Timms in car number 3. And then watch out for these Jedis all together at the minute. You've got number 85 in there, which is Richard Moorcroft, and Jonathan Reid also in the mix as well, trying to get their way down through the inside at Hamilton. And it's 85 of Richard Moorcroft who just loses out there, and he's going to be under attack now from the all-yellow Jedi of Jonathan Reid. But already up front, Richard Gittins starting to extend the gap between himself and Jeremy Timms. There's this slightly growing line now, works his way through. There's Chris Lord in car number 59. He works his way onto the back straight in that Van Diemen from 1982. As the top two head off the straight down through Brundle and Nelson for the first time. Watch out there for number 71, which looks to be making a move. That's Andrew Gordon-Colebrook. Slightly sluggish start, but of course with the Jedis getting off the line very quickly, he'll be the man who kind of works his way through as the race unfolds. Again, the two Jedis further back there side by side. It's now Jonathan Reid under attack there from Chris Lord by the looks of it, car number 59. So those two run nose to tail. Here comes Andrew Gordon-Colebrook trying to make his way around the outside. In fact, he's being passed there by the car of Richard Moorcroft. So Richard gets himself through at Murray's, powers his way up across the line. And there also comes into the mix now number 17, which hasn't had too bad a start at the minute. But let's see if he can make any further progress. That's Dan Levy. Dan Levy hounding the back of Andrew Gordon-Colebrook, who in turn is alongside Richard Moorcroft in towards Ritchie's. Can he go the high, wide and handsome line round the outside at Ritchie's? It's only going to be detailed as they work their way back into sight at the hairpin, and unfortunately he's lost out there. So they run side by side, so do the two Jedis behind. There's Chris Lord as well, just coming through your picture. And there is Jason Timms, the man who sits in third position now in car number 3. But look at this, the end of lap number 1, already the top two lead the field by around 6.5 seconds as Andrew Gordon-Colebrook in the number 71 machine looks towards the inside line of number 33. Craig Hurren under attack, not just from one person but two, because Jonathan Reid goes through in the process there. So 2 places lost for Craig Hurren. He'll try and get one of the back at Hamilton, but no luck in succeeding there. Dan Levy just on the back in car number 17. So these 4 or 5 nose to tail for the time being as they work their way on towards Williams. Good turn of speed here from Richard Moorcroft. He's made his way through from 8th on the grid and now finds himself up into what's going to be the top 4, just behind number 3, and before too much longer he may be able to go through as well on Jason Timms, and he gets the job done before they even hit the brakes at Brundle and Nelson. So up now into 3rd has gone Richard Moorcroft, but can he do anything about the top 2? Probably not already at this early stage, because as we said, 6.5 seconds down the road, that's a lot of work to be done, especially from Richard Moorcroft. But he'll give it a good go over the next 10 minutes or so as he comes through Coram Curve. Flat out there are these Jedis. Hardly any lift around this full 300 circuit. Dan Levy there in car number 17. He's trying to keep at bay number 33, which is Craig Hurren, who turns his way on towards the main straight once more. And they're going to try and catch up with Jonathan Reid in car number 88. Here's some of the slightly older machinery within the field we have for the Monoposto races. That's number 47. working his way through the bomb hole. David Jones just sitting behind there, the number 12 machine of Philip Davis. Of course, Philip was a spinner on the first couple of corners, but he's done well to regain those places and start to fight with these two Formula 4s, which head their way through. Second of those being there, Douglas McLeay, car number 81, which powers his way up towards the line, just sitting for the time being behind number 90, which is Alex Fors. Again, Alex Fors has had a slow start, so just wondering if he was caught up in the first couple of corners where we saw one of those spinners, but at the minute he's down outside the top 10. There goes number 57 through the pitch up. Any guest, again a long time runner within Monoposto, always brings out this delightfully looking car, the Lola T640. It's a very reliant car that he does drive as well. So that's a little bit lower down the order. This is the fight back towards the front once more. As we see there, number 17, Dan Levy, sits now in 7th place. Still trying to chase down the car of the likes of Jonathan Reed and Jason Timms, who seems to be slowing a little bit further now. He's lost another position there. And here comes a good scrap for the lead, because down the inside line goes Jeremy Timms. That came from pretty much nowhere. The gap was over 2 seconds, but on this lap, Richard Gittins has been closed in on by Jeremy Timms. They run side by side once more, and of course on the straight line it's going to be Richard Gittins, who has just about enough power to go back ahead. So Richard Gittins takes over the lead once more, and across the line now is separated by just a quarter of a second. But can Jeremy Timms now do anything up towards the Wilson hairpin? Through they turn, nothing happening there as the sun glints off the tarmac as they work their way the top two. As one down towards Palmer once more. Richard Gittins will have to defend quite vigorously now, because that Jeremy Timms is right there. He's not going to hold back whatsoever. Jeremy Timms is a quick peddler in his machine. As he comes down towards the left-hander Agustin, he'll look for the inside line, and he's going to go through in the process there. So again, another attack has come from Jeremy Timms. He gets the job done. Can he hold it nicely on the exit? Yes, he can. So Richard Gittins, no answer on that occasion. But again, there's a very long straight about to approach the top two. So could that be the chance for the Jedi of Richard Gittins to get back ahead? But already, look at that, Jeremy Timms has pulled out a good 4 or 5 car lengths here, and he's just continuing to grow the gap now as they work their way on towards the back straight. Richard Gittins powers the Jedi up once more as they work their way down in towards Brundle and Nelson. This is our 4th place man just going through there, which was Andrew Gordon-Colebrook, followed by Jonathan Reed. There's Dan Levy in car number 17, and then behind that will be the number 3 machine, which has dropped even further back now. That's Jason Timms in this race, and before too much longer he may be under threat from Craig Curran as well in car number 33. So he's going to have to get a little bit of a wriggle on as this race unfolds. Very shortly coming up to half race distance. Jason Timms trying to fight back through the bomb hole, but again no real chance of him getting through there, so he's going to have to just bide his time. He's got enough in hand over Craig Curran there not to be challenged at this point. And to be fair to Jason, he started to pick up the pace once more now, so let's see if he can challenge down towards Murray's. He turns his way through the left hand, he gets a good turn of speed on the exit in the corner, but again the Jedis are synonymous with being very quick in a straight line, and that's exactly what they do as they power their way up towards the start-finish line. Across the line they go. Here's another great battle to watch out for. Jeff Fern for the Fern Racing team, trying to keep one of those Formula Fords at bay, and that will be the number 90 car, which is still of Alex Fors, working his way back through the order. Alex looks for the inside line at the bomb hole, and very nicely taken there from Alex to go through now up into what's going to be 10th place by the looks of it. So he works his way through. Jeff Fern drops himself down a position. And they're coming towards the final corner at Murray's. Very nice visor there for Jeff, matches the colour of the car. So as he carries on his way, here's the fight now between Jonathan Reed and Dan Levy. Jonathan finds himself sitting in 5th position, Dan Levy down in 6th, and behind them still Jason Timms in car number 3. Seems to be the odd one out there, doesn't he, Jason Timms, because all around him are the Jedis for now. Slightly wide for one of the back markers by the looks of it. I think that's Ben McGee just staying out of harm's way. Andrew Gordon-Colebrook just up the road at the minute in car number 71, finds himself down in 4th place. And is he going to catch the top 3? Not too sure, but we've got one of the cars off the road there, unfortunately. That's Douglas McLeay in his Formula Ford. So he pulls to the side of the road, which means there'll be yellow flags down at Brundle and Nelson for the next lap or so. As through to complete another lap will come now number 2, which is Jeremy Timms. Already for him wrapped up the championship within his class, so nothing really to worry about this weekend. Just looking for 2 solid results. The only championship going all the way within these classes is, as we said, the Moto 1000s between Richard Gittins, who sits on 132 points before this weekend, Craig Curran on 116, and the very close as well, John Reed on 111. But Richard Gittins for now looking to extend that championship lead in the position he is. Sits second within the race, but first in class, which is the main prerogative for him. Across the line goes this fight then between number 88, Jonathan Reed, number 17, Dan Levy, and still just about on the clutches of them is number 3, Jason Timms, the man who qualified on the front row. But since the start, he's kind of dropped himself a little bit further back and has dropped near enough to the end of the top 10 now. Here comes one of our older machines once again. That's Chris Lord in the Van Diemen. Still pushing on very nicely indeed, and this is a good little tussle as well between number 47, which heads the train, working its way down towards Brundle and Nelson. That's David Jones, and David at the minute is down a little bit further in the order, but having a good run. He's got Eddie Guest there for company, and again one of those other Formula Fords, in fact a couple of Formula Fords in the mix there. So they continue on their way. That's number 55, William Thorlin, just about to be passed now by Eddie Guest, who looks for the inside line, and that Lola goes down very nicely through Murray's and moves up a position ahead of the Formula Ford. But then the Formula Ford much quicker in a straight line, so it's going to retaliate as they work their way in towards the first corner. They've already been lapped by this man, number 2, which is Jeremy Timms, man qualifying on pole position with a 158.312 around the 300 circuit. Was pretty much 3 seconds quicker than everybody else, who's done a sterling job. He's now just got to bring it to the checker flag as through the final corner comes Jonathan Reed, and still with him Dan Levy in car number 17. So up towards the line they go. This is going to be the fight at the minute inside the top 5. We've got Andrew Gordon-Colbrook just ahead of them. So let's see what Dan Levy can do. Works his way through Ritchie's. Looks very low, that car, doesn't it? Just shows how much weight he's transferred from one side to the other. And that is our race leader, number 2. Oh, and there's damage on the right rear and a lot of smoke coming from the back as well. So Jeremy Timms possibly might have a fire underneath the engine bay as well here. So it'll be ideal for him to pull off the circuit as quick as possible. But Jeremy Timms, with damage to the right rear, smoke coming from the back, that is a very ill-looking car, I'm afraid. So I wonder if he just spun on his own oil possibly and made contact with the barrier, but he's out of the race, which does now mean that Richard Gittins takes over the lead of the race. So you probably didn't see that one come in, especially when Jeremy Timms was much quicker and had opened up that gap to over 5 seconds in this race. But Richard Gittins looking very comfortably in the lead of the race. There is Jeremy Timms, the sorry sight of his car as he jumps out of it and gets himself behind the Armco barrier. But what a shame for Jeremy. As I said, already wrapped up the championship within his class this year, so nothing to worry about there, but he may be a man who has a few dramas before the second race of the weekend. Yellow flags waved down towards Hamilton and Oggies as this fight continues now between Kyle Cutts in the Honda Racing livery machine, and then just ahead of him is number 90, which is Alex Fors, still trying to make his way back through the order after his spin early in the race. But where is Richard Gittins? Oh, as Alex Fors goes off the road and straight away gifts the place to Kyle Cutts, unfortunately. So that's the change of position on to the last lap. We now go then for the leaders. So Richard Gittins on his way through. Can he hold it to the checker flag? Hopefully there'll be no ill fortune to suffer that car. As Kyle Cutts works his way down towards Brundle and Nelson. Kyle looking here to finish ahead now of Alex Fors, which I think he will just about do. He's too far back though from Chris Lord in car number 59, so that's going to be surely Chris Lord secure in his position. But this fight is not done yet. Dan Levy has managed to get his way through past Jonathan Reed in the yellow and black machine. There goes Jason Timms, the man in car number 3, which started second, but now is going to find himself down the order in around 7th place at the minute, but he's going to try and fight back on Jonathan Reed down towards the right-hander Oggies. They go for the final time. There are a few more back markers. Eddie Guest in there. You've got number 47 still, David Jones. There goes our 3rd place man now, of course, after the demise of Jeremy Timms. That is Andrew Gordon-Colbrook. But here comes Richard Gittins. And I think with this place that he sits in at the minute, it should be enough to wrap up the Moto Mono 1000 Championship as well. But it's not all settled for second place. But Richard Gittins had done enough in the first race of the weekend as he works his way up towards the line to take the checker flag here in the JMT Monoposto 1800, 1600, Moto 1400 and Moto 1000 classes. He'll come through and he's going to win by quite a margin, I think it's fair to say, because after we lost Jeremy Timms, there was a few other people a long way back. This man's done well though. Richard Moorcroft, who qualified in 8th position, he's going to work his way to the line. He's going to grab second place, one of his best performances of the season. And as he crosses the line, he is in the end 22.5 seconds back from Richard Gittins. But it's a Jedi 1-2, and then just a few seconds adrift of the top two. Will come the first of the non-Jedis. That'll be the Dallara of Andrew Gordon-Colebrook. Behind them, you've got a couple more Jedis in the form of Dan Levy, Jonathan Reed and Craig Hurren to round out your top 6, with Jason Timms in the end coming home in 7th place ahead of Chris Lord in his Van Diemen, Carl Cutts in 9th place, and Alex Fors brings home the Formula Ford in 10th place. But 3 very happy drivers step out in their cars and now head their way to the podium to grab champagne from our Monoposto organisers. There's our 3rd place man, Andrew Gordon-Colebrook. Second place will go the way of Richard Moorcroft then as he works his way onto that podium. As I said, one of his best performances of the season so far. But the man who gets the first win of the weekend and more importantly wraps up the Moto Mono 1000 Championship is going to be Richard Gittins, who takes his step at the top of that podium. And we'll find out his thoughts very, very shortly. He's done that championship, but as we said, the fight for second does continue to race number 2. But here's Richard down there on the podium with Alan Hyde.
Many congratulations, well done. You'd done all the maths, you knew what you had to do. What a way to do it as well.
Yeah, thank you. I mean, I thought if we can get a win today, then secures the championship as well. So for me, that was an absolute bonus, and it went very well, really.
Did it feel good from this morning?
Yeah, difficult qualifying session because the weather was very variable. It started to dry later on in the session, so it worked well. We had a puncher right at the end, but we got a quick enough lap early on to do what we needed to do, and the start wasn't perfect, to be honest, but once we got going, managed to get into the lead, which I was hoping to do, because I know Jeremy and Jason very quick once they get going, once their tyres are warmed up. Jeremy came by, I knew it was a matter of time before that happened, and then I think there was some collision, and sad for him, but I'll take it as it is.
Championship title in the class, people to thank?
HS Motorsport. They've been a fantastic team. They've supplied the car and did all the work and hard work, and my friend Richard as well has also supported me as well, and my sponsor JDR Karting as well. So thanks to all of them.
So that's race 1 complete in the JMT Monoposto 1800, 1600, Moto 1400 and Moto 1000. The champion may have been decided, but there's still a fight for second to go, with 4 points separating second and third. Find out what happens in race 2 and you can catch it on the Race Television YouTube channel.